My name's Truman. I'm a professional track sprint cyclist for the British team. Yeah, so off the bike, training your lower body is really important because on the road you're pushing big gears up hills. The one single biggest predictor of power on a bike is your ability to squat in the gym and squat fast. If you look at a 16-year-old sprinter compared to a 25-year-old, they both push very similar max cadences and they can spin out at the same speed, but the difference comes where the older rider, the more mature rider, they can push the bigger gears to the same cadence. And obviously the bigger gear and the same cadence, you're going to go faster. So yeah, my number one exercise for cyclists would be the squat. Any variation of it, the front squat, back squat would be fine. I think anything that works you through your knees and your hips and your ankles for a range of motion similar to being on the bike is going to be really beneficial. And it can be adapted to what you want as well, really. So in Manchester, we have a lot of people doing partials as primers for warm-ups. We also have people doing front squats and back squats, low bar, high bar. Anything really that gets you moving in that plane of motion is going to be really beneficial. And obviously cycling is concentric, but you're working through an eccentric and concentric with a squat. But I think that's good for building all-round strength. So for me, number two would be the trap bar deadlift. Really important exercise for cyclists. It's concentric, very similar to cycling, and it allows you to work in a full plane of movement, very similar to how you would on the bike when you're out of the saddle. For me, with my main event being the team sprint, standing start and getting off the line with full force is really important. And it's very similar to a trap bar where you're both hands on the bar and both legs pushing up. I think also it works the posterior chain a little bit more. So with cycling, I think it can become very underactive. Time spent on the bike bent forward and your glutes and your hammies don't really get much of a kick in. But with the trap bar deadlift, I think that really sort of counteracts that and allows you to use them a lot more. The third exercise for cyclists could start using would be sort of a banded knee extension. Probably isometric. So I think on the bike, you're obviously putting a lot of stress through your knees. They're doing multiple reps, sometimes hundreds of thousands of reps in a bike ride. And I think you've got to give them a bit of TLC as well. So something I like to do is a banded knee extension and an isometric hold. For me, I start every session with 3 times 30-second isometric knee extension. I think it gives you a good sort of base to start off for the session because it's almost a little bit of a primer for your knees and it's sort of like a low-level warm-up.